Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're staring down the calendar right now and realizing there are only 15 days left until your BEM English exam, take a deep breath. We are absolutely not going to panic today. Instead, we're shifting our entire perspective based on a comprehensive analysis of real exam papers. We're going to treat these next 15 days not as some frantic cramming session, but as a massive opportunity to literally hack the exam mechanics. It's time to learn exactly how to play the game, and more importantly, how to win it. Now, you might be wondering, can you actually secure an excellent grade in just 2 weeks without being totally fluent in English? Well, after analyzing thousands of student papers, the answer is a resounding yes. We really need to challenge the assumption that you have to be some linguistic genius to score top marks. Here's the secret. The exam is a highly predictable mechanical system. So many students fail or lose points not because they aren't smart, but simply because they have zero methodology. Today, we're completely replacing guesswork with a strict mechanical exam hacking protocol. We're going to beat this paper by executing our protocol across 3 distinct phases. Think of them as boss battles. We've got level 1, reading comprehension, level 2, mastery of language, and level 3, written expression. Okay, let's jump straight into level 1, reading comprehension, and what we call the visual matching rule. To beat this first level, you actually need to stop trying to deeply translate the text. Seriously, students who score poorly waste so much precious time trying to perfectly understand the narrative. Instead, I want you to become a detective. You're scanning for microscopic visual clues, literally just matching the keyword in the question to the exact keyword in the text. And that brings us to our first major hack, letter-by-letter copying. The data shows this absolute tragedy where students find the exact right answer in the text, but then they lose the point because of a careless visual transfer. Like the text says London with an O, and the student writes London with an E, or they just forget a capital letter. Starting today, you point your finger at the word in the text, and you transfer it letter by letter to your answer sheet. 0 spelling changes. You are a human photocopier. This strict protocol instantly eliminates those heartbreaking careless mistakes. So, how do we handle those tricky open-ended reading questions? Let's contrast the careless way with the elite hacker way. The careless student finds the keyword and just copies a random half sentence, or worse, an entire paragraph, just hoping the right answer is magically hidden somewhere inside. Graders give absolutely 0 points for that. The hacker way relies on a strict boundary rule. You find your keyword in the text, look left to the very first capital letter of that sentence. Start copying right there. Now look right and stop immediately at the very first full stop. Nothing more, nothing less. Perfect boundaries mean perfect points. Let's move on to level 2, mastery of language, where we treat grammar as visual equations. Now, this is the section where average students usually panic, but we're going to transform grammar from a really confusing guessing game into a clear set of visual equations. Think of it exactly like math. If I see X, I must write Y. You don't need to inherently feel the right answer. You literally just need to spot the visual trigger. Do not touch the verb in brackets until you find the time marker in the sentence. It is a strict equation. See the word last or ago? Boom, it's the past. Just add an ed or use the irregular form. See next or tomorrow? It's the future. Write will and keep the verb exactly as it is. Now see the word while? Be careful. That's a famous trap. The verb right after while must be was or were plus the verb with an ing. And for always or usually, if the subject is he, she, or it, you just have to add an s to the verb. Spot the marker, execute the action. It really is that simple. Let's rapid fire some mechanical rules for adjectives. Again, treat the words immediately before and after the blank space as your visual triggers. If you see the word the right before the gap, you trigger the superlative, add est or most. If you see the word than right after the gap, trigger the comparative, add or more. And here is my absolute favorite, literally the easiest point on the entire exam. If you see the adjective trapped between as and as, like as cold as, the rule is incredibly simple. Do not touch it. Leave the word exactly as it is. Moving on to sequence connectors. Careless students just throw words like and or then around everywhere, creating this messy, unreadable block of text. The elite hacker sequence protocol demands structure. First, next, after that, finally. But here is the secret sauce that really separates a good grade from an excellent one, the mandatory comma. First, comma. Next, comma. This tiny little visual detail instantly signals to the grader that you're an organized, high-level student, completely securing you the full points for coherence. All right, time for the final boss. Level 3, written expression. We're calling this layout engineering. For this final level, do not, I repeat, do not treat it as raw creative writing or some kind of poetry contest. Think of it as layout engineering. Graders actually award points just for how your paragraph visually looks on the page, way before they even read your ideas. So let's secure those free formatting points right now with a strict 3-step protocol. Step 1, indentation. Always leave a blank space about the size of one word at the very beginning of your paragraph. Step 2, capital letters. Every single sentence and every name of a city or monument absolutely must start with a capital. Step 3, the full stop. Our analysis heavily warns against the marathon sentence, when students write 5 to 8 lines with absolutely no punctuation. Do not do that. Keep your sentences short. Subject, verb, object, full stop. Honestly, this visual discipline alone guarantees you points. Now, how exactly do we use the fact file or the hints they provide for the paragraph? Well, the careless way is to blindly copy the hints exactly as they are written, kind of like a grocery list. Writing transport : is going to get you a 0. The hacker way is all about hint-to-sentence conversion. You take that raw data and build a tiny, grammatically bulletproof subject-verb sentence around it. So transport plane becomes, I traveled by plane. Born 1832 becomes, he was born in 1832. It's super simple, it's highly accurate, and it scores maximum points. All right, let's talk about crossing to excellence and building that elite 2020 mindset. At this point in our explainer, we've basically covered all the essential survival strategies. If you follow what we've discussed so far, you'll definitely pass. But come on, we don't just want to pass, right? To cross that threshold into absolute excellence, we need an elite mindset that leaves absolutely 0 room for point deductions. And a massive way to do this is with a vocabulary upgrade. When you're writing your paragraph, the grader is actively scanning to determine your level. Basic vocabulary like good, nice, or big instantly signals an average student. If you want top-tier marks, you've got to swap those out. Instead of a nice trip, make it an outstanding trip. Instead of a good monument, call it a fascinating or massive landmark. Swapping just 2 or 3 basic words for these powerful elite adjectives instantly elevates your paper and locks you into the highest grading bracket. And that brings us to the ultimate goal, a 20 out of 20. Achieving a perfect score is not about being a linguistic genius. The analysis of top-tier papers proves time and time again that reaching a perfect 20 requires microscopic precision. It's about respecting the capital letter on a character's name. It's about remembering that sneaky singular S in the present tense. It takes the discipline to not get arrogant, to actually check your spelling when you're copying a word that is literally right in front of your eyes. Perfection here is simply the natural result of flawless mechanical execution. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. You have exactly 15 days left. Are you going to walk into that exam room relying on luck, just hoping you magically feel the right answers? Or are you going to take absolute control of your destiny and strictly execute this mechanical exam protocol? The points are literally sitting right there on the page, just waiting for you to claim them. Organize your mind, respect the visual rules, and go conquer that exam.